So I've sort of fallen into a theme for this, the first week of summer of 2021. In fact, this is being recorded on the first day of summer of 2021. And the theme is kind of bright, outlandish colors, which sort of explains my shirt. It also explains this guy. It is the Transformer Selects Gulf, or Skalor, if you will. And we're going to look at him compared to this guy from God Neptune. This is going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I am either a mod or an admin for, as well as all my social media links, all of that in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member. And this is the Selects Gulf, or Skalor, if you are somebody who knows that name better. This is obviously a reuse, retool, heavy retool of Blot that was part of Abominus. At the very beginning there, we saw him next to Caligon, I think. Caligon? I'm never sure how to say his name, but I think it's Caligon. And that is the God Neptune use of this mold. I never thought I was going to be able to get the King Poseidon, but man, am I glad I did. This guy is pretty interesting. And a ton more paint here than I ever expected. There's actually a lot here that is very pleasing to my optics and probably yours. So without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And so we continue on today with our look at the next of the Seacons. Yes, this has been a little bit haphazard, but if you've been following along, then I explained when I looked at God Neptune a long time ago that I would really kind of delve into the transformations and a little more depth when we looked at the individual characters. Well, such is the case here with this one. This is Gulf, or Skalor, if you will. And we did see him before, but before we get to that, we're going to look at this packaging first. And of course, it is your typical Takara Tomy Generation Selects. This one is 04 packaging. Nothing really on it other than that. When we open it up, from this side, and remove the first box, we have the grid pattern here. As we've seen before, Generation Select, Seacon Gulf, on the back again not much of anything, and then we take that cover off and we have our typical Generation Selects packaging. It is what it is. And inside all of that excessive packaging, we have first and foremost instructions. These are the Takara style. A lot of Japanese I can't read, but the pictures are generally bright and clear. And it's on nice gloss paper, so that's cool, I guess, for instructions. Oh, we have two of these nicely molded blasters, not a lick of paint. But we forgive that because we have a sword here, and this thing is slathered in that metallic-y pinkish paint. I love it. And, to be fair, Gulf, or Skalor if you will, is also slathered in paint. Speaking of which, and here's everybody's favorite, I hope I'm saying this right, coelacanth monster. Apparently a coelacanth is an actual fish with a lot of sharp teeth. I don't know, but this one has legs, because why not? Of course, that being said, maybe this isn't your favorite. Maybe this other one is your favorite. This, of course, is the God Neptune Coelagon. He's old, he's an ugly fish. It is what it is. Okay, so because he came in package in fish mode, that's where we're going to begin. We're going to take this off from under here. I know it's storage, but like I don't think it's particularly good storage. In this mode, the jaw opens and closes. These things move around. I'm going to take these off too, because I find them cumbersome and in the way. The legs, they can go forward and back. The ankle can move forward and back. The leg can go all the way out to the side, which is really neat. I think that that's cool. The articulation for like a fish with legs is about as good as you could hope for articulation for a fish with legs. In terms of his coloration, I'm going to say it's 10. Now, we do have animation to compare it to from Super God Master Force. Arguably, depending on the frame you look at, either the light pink is light pink or it is white. So you might kind of knock it down to a 9.5 because the shade is off. For me, I tend to defer to the animation where it is pink, and for me it's a 10. Depending on how you want to see this guy, either it's Gulf, and there's a ton of Gulf, or it's Skalor, who kind of has a bad odor because, I don't know, like his sweat stinks or something. I mean, he's a fish, what do you expect? And he has been asked, like, go to a doctor and see about it. And he's like, no, I'm good. It's not my problem, dude. And yeah, he's fine. So it depends on if you want this to be a Gulf that is part of King Poseidon, or if you want this to be Skalor that's part of Piranacon. I tend to go with Skalor, but I mean, that's just me. Again, I kind of graded the paint apps here because I don't think in Super God Master Force we ever saw him in robot mode, so really we kind of got to go by fish limb mode. Speaking of robot mode, we're going to work our way there. We're going to kind of put him in arm mode first, rough. Now, to be fair, there are aspects here of the transformation I have outright forgotten. I just don't remember where certain things peg in, but you'll get the idea. We begin by picking this up, and we will take these. Oh, actually, before that, we take this piece out too. By the way, this piece rotates around to become like a hand blaster. A lot of people said this is really loose. It's actually toleranced quite well on mine. The tail fin blaster section that came with Poseidon, I hope I'm saying his name right, was actually significantly looser than that. So, I don't know. It is what it is, I suppose. We take the legs and we open them out. The fish legs, they fold up basically, and when they do, well, they don't really fold up, the foot kind of folds in behind. There's a little circular peg here and a little circular tab on the side of the leg for it to peg in, and same there, they peg in. Here the head comes back, this comes up, this comes back in. I think these come down on the side and around the back if I'm not mistaken, and then I think this kind of pegs in sort of kind of like that. You turn this, it's not quite right because this is actually out too far. There, you gotta collapse that. You could, using one of these peg holes here, put the tail piece in and kind of have it hanging off. But basically, boom, here he is in his arm mode. Of course, you would put a hand in there. Oh, and he does come with a hand piece. I didn't show that, but it's a hand piece. It is what it is. We'll see it later on when we finally get to combining all of these pieces together. We're not gonna do that today, but we'll get there. So there you go, arm mode. It's a functional arm, turns, double elbow. I mean, it's pretty cool. We can straighten this up and split these legs, and you can see that the guy is going off screen. Naturally, I'm going to have to readjust things so we have everything in there and we can finish the upper body. And it's pretty simple from here. We take this arm and we turn it around and bring it down. We should be able to get the fist out. Same here. Bring it around, bring it down. I'm sure I had these arms in the wrong position. Whatever. He's never going to be an arm anyway. We turn that like that, and we solidify the back on there, and boom, in the end, here we have him in his robot mode. And there he is next to Poseidon. Which color scheme do you like better? You know, it really boils down to that. It's a fine mold, I guess. I'm going to take him back out of it. And for articulation for this guy in this mode, the head goes left, right. Not really any up or down. I guess this can open here to put prime armor on if you want to do that, because it was Blot. The arms can go sort of around. They do get hindered here by these pieces out to the side all the way. Elbow to 90 degrees. We get a swivel because of the ball peg there. Nothing at the wrist. The waist, it turns just fine. Out to the side. Forward just fine. Back just fine, thigh swivel, nothing at the ankle, and a 90-degree at the knee. Very typical for the Combiner Wars Power of the Primes era. Little bit kind of behind the times now with things like wrist swivel and ankle tilt kind of being part of the norm. I'm going to say that the articulation is fine for what it is. On my copy, it's toleranced generally well, so I'm going to say that the articulation, and considering the fish mode articulation, is somewhere around an 8.5. So we have a, what I'm calling a 10 for the look, we have an 8.5 for the articulation. That's not bad, man. 9.25. We're going to go to the last mode and then I'll score the transformation. The last mode is the leg mode, where we flip that up. These I turn in thusly. We rotate at the waist and I pick this up. We're going to do as we have often done and combine our legs up and in. Of course, the trick with doing that is always getting that knee in the right spot and then tabbing the legs back together. And we would put a foot in here. These arms tend to be down here on the side. They do have a place to tab in, but, and I guess we can put this down. And again, if you want, you can take the tail fin and put it in right there using, you know, like a peg that's on the side. I guess I'll use one here and just show it. This like peg handle here can like go in like that, so it's sort of down like that. I mean, it's an option. There's other ways you can store it, but there is one. And you can still put his two blasters there, or you could use it as part of his big blaster. Of course, we would put a foot piece down here. That's not with this guy. It didn't come with him, but you get the idea. And yeah, this is him as a leg. I think going to leg mode is easy. I think going to robot mode is easy. I feel like the arm is a little cumbersome with the upper fish section here, just with the hinges and stuff. Going back to fish mode, I always forget how to move this piece, but it always manages to work out. It's not the smoothest of transformations, but it's definitely not bad. And if you know Blot, it's pretty darn familiar. And you do it once, twice, you definitely got it. I'm going to say that it's a solid 9 for what it is. And there's a surprising amount of moving parts in all modes for this guy. Goes back on a few tricks that we know and love, but does do a couple of other things interestingly. And it does make a pretty functional arm and a pretty functional leg. I mean, here now, you know, I mean, it's fine the way it is. I tend to angle this hinge out in here so that I do get a full range, which brings the fish head down lower. But I mean, that's up to you for how you want to display things. I tend to have it down so like the fin is kind of down to the feet. That's what works for me and my taste, but to each their own. Yeah, so overall I'm going to say the transformation, 9. The guy was getting 9.25. I'm going to say overall, Gulf or Skalor is a 9, and that isn't too bad. And here we are once again. Here he is. Look, I looked at Tentakill way back in episode 819, I think. I looked at God Neptune in episode 820, where I didn't really look at any of the transformations, except for the one for the Overbite Lad, whatever he's renamed in that set as. I don't remember right now. I looked at like Sea Wing and, or Kraken, if you will, and Nodular Lobclaw. I want to say around 842, 844. I probably have already put some cards in if you wanted to check those out. Now we're looking at this guy. I will say this, that gives me now like 4 limbs. Sadly, I don't actually have Overbite. I haven't been able to find him for a sensible investment price. Will I ever get him? I don't know. We'll see. But I do feel very rewarded, very happy to have these 4. And the way we kind of left off with this guy was leg mode. That's the way he's going to be the next time we see him. The paint here, tremendous. The articulation, certainly acceptable. I mean, is it slightly dated? One could say, yeah, he should have ankles. I get it. He should have wrists. I get it. But considering all the modes he pulls off, I did not show his like blaster mode. I neglected that. To be fair, I kind of don't care about that mode. I don't plan to ever use him like it, so whatever. But you basically put them in leg mode, and the combiner peg is like facing down instead of facing up to be part of a leg, right? So it's basically the leg mode. And you would put these two pieces together and kind of put them in the front. I think I actually did show that in the God Neptune review, maybe. I think I did. So yeah, I dig this guy. I think he's great. I think the paint is a lot more than I expected. He feels more premium than I thought he would be, especially considering my spotty history with Takara. I like Gulf. I like Skalor. I'm going to call this guy Skalor because that's the way I remember him as a lad. Let me know what you think about this latest of the Seacons. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube. Become a channel member while you're at it. Hit that subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us, and don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned baby right here inside the videos.